coffee. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome. It is Sunday, September 10th. Man, can you believe it? It's September 10th, and Joshua Fish is bringing it up. I was just watching footage of the 9/11. Kind of strange how the video cut right before the second plane hits the second tower. Man, can you believe that? 22 years ago. 22 years ago, we were in one timeline, in one time frame, in one universe. And then tomorrow morning, 22 years ago, tomorrow morning, at what, 8:50, we would veer off onto the new course. And some would say we've been on a weird trajectory ever since. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We might talk about that a little bit tomorrow. I used to, with Perception is Reality, every September 11th, I would talk about it and do things. And it's just funny how we're supposed to never forget and how quickly we forgot. I tell you, I will... Yeah, man, what a weird thing. What a weird thing. Still pissed about it 22 years later. Yeah, me too. Really. Yeah. And your oldest grandson turns 21 tomorrow. Always lived in a world after 9/11. What a horrible thing. Yeah, I am sounding much better. I am definitely on the mend, feeling better. I've been getting a lot of work done. I've got a lot of work done this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I finally, for the first time, feel like my head popped up above the water a little bit, and we're kind of starting to see what's going on. Let's see here. Good evening, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. Yeah, as Alva said, hit that like button if you could. For all of you folks that are in here, I'm sure that you guys are probably all subscribers. If you're not, make sure that you have subscribed and do what you can. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. No, John, I don't know that I get what you're saying, definitely. I mean, the way I look at it is, it's definitely something happened. Obviously, something happened, and Americans lost their lives one way or another, whichever way people fall down on the side of what occurred. It was definitely a horrible situation. And honestly, I can't, I both is just one's worse than the other. If it was done to us, if it was done to us, that's horrible. And if it was perpetrated against us by those in our own government on our own homeland, well, hell, that's even worse. So yeah, what a way to kick off a show. I tell you, it's always a weird thing. Definitely brings up a lot of emotions, good, bad, sad. Nothing really good, I guess. But yeah, what a weird deal. What a weird deal. Okay, so look, we've got a lot to talk about. Annie says, what's been going on? I've just got I've had a lot going on. We've got a lot going on with the candidates that are running for office this time. I have started reaching out to candidates. Hopefully here in the next couple days, I will start getting those candidates to start plugging in times, and we will put forward a schedule when we will be able to do that. Candidate interviews. We have that. I want to fill you guys in on kind of what the game plan is going to be. I know a couple weeks back, Jackie was like, I think on a Friday or Saturday, Jackie Fisher was like, "Hey, what's your plan for next week look like? Do you have a schedule for next week?" And I gave her like this great big long thing. I was like, "Hell, there's no way we could ever plan a week out in advance. I sometimes don't know what's going on. By the time I wake up and I've got a plan for that night's show, that sometimes changes 2 or 3 times throughout the day." That being said, I do have a pretty solid plan, a solid outline of how I think this week is going to go. So, just really quick for some housekeeping measures, I want to let you all know basically, will you endorse any candidate that does not interview with you? That's hard to say now. I can't say yes or no right now. Obviously, my belief is no. My belief right now is no. If I ask a candidate to interview and a candidate turns down that interview, I will not be endorsing that candidate. And I feel like if you are a candidate and you're unwilling to speak to every Tom, Dick, or Harry, any kind of off the couch news team, Channel 13, MSNBC, Fox News, CBS, the guy on the couch, podcast, whatever it is, if you're a candidate running for public office, whether it be the dog catcher of a 2-horse town, or if you're talking about president of the United States, and you are not going to interview with people, that's something that the voters and the citizens ought to be aware of and should definitely look out for. So that being said, I don't know that I will be endorsing people that won't interview with me. That said, I'm sure that there are some scenarios in which I could see somebody having some kind of issue that we just are not able to make it work for some reason. And we maybe try and this happens. And because of that said issue, for whatever goes on, but they're still a solid candidate and they are very transparent and open to the community and the voters. I could see that. So I'll have to see. I'll be very harsh to those that do not interview. So that'll be that. Well, I'll start out saying that, and we'll have to see how it goes on the back end of things. Okay, that being said, I want to give you guys a tentative schedule for what's going on tonight through at least midweek. So I had initially, yeah, Yoko, that's simply the easiest way to look at it, and everyone needs to see that. Candidates that refuse to interview give me a bad feeling that they have something to hide. Well, yeah, absolutely. So let's say neither candidate interviews. Will you just not endorse either candidate as non-communicative candidates? That's interesting. I mean, I guess it would depend on what my knowledge is. I mean, I have a pretty decent knowledge of most of the people that we're talking about. So I feel like even without speaking to a lot of these people, I could make a determination. But it'll be hard to say. It'll be, like I said, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get to the other side of those interviews. Here's what I'm putting this out. I'm putting this out, and to anyone and everyone that hears this. And I don't care if you're a candidate. I don't care if you're a candidate's flunky, someone that's working for people. I don't care if you're Troy Tackett out there listening that still thinks that I don't make a difference and this is just a little old podcast and there's only 3 people listening. That's right. Keep on fooling yourself, big boy. Keep sliding into those Miss Me jeans and slicking that hair back. You're looking fine. Let me tell you, while you're doing all that craziness, keep on saying, maybe, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe no candidate will interview with me. Maybe all candidates are afraid of transparency. Guess what? I will blast every single one of them. No problem. If we have 30 candidates in the city of Muncie that are afraid of transparency, communication, and accountability, the public needs to be aware of that. If we have 30 worthless people that want your vote without coming to your door, without talking, without being willing to communicate, then we have those people and we need to know that. So I will be asking pretty much everybody. There might be 1 or 2 people that I've just made the determination that I will not be asking because there's no way I'm endorsing, and I will not give that person time or platform on my show. Just starting off right out of the gate, I'm going to say I will not be giving she who shall not be named. I will not be giving her a platform on my show. She is her candidacy, her attempt to get back into government is a cancer. And she, as a candidate, just similar to cancer, destroys everything good around her, kills out everything and snuffs it out, figuratively, politically speaking, and is only there to grow bigger and stronger for herself. And so I cannot participate in that. I will not participate in that. And I will not do that. There are plenty of other places out there. Hell, there are even a lot more reputable places out there than yours truly. So she has at it. She can have at it. Yeah, she will not be endorsed. Matter of fact, I can even tell you this. I don't know that Josh Talby is going to interview. He's not. I hope he does. Because I don't want to have to bash him. But her opponent, Josh Talby, I've got some issues with him. Definitely have some issues with him. Definitely concerned that he might be a little too on the pocket, clamping down hard, holding that pocket of Ed Carroll and the Republican Party. But man, I tell you, I'm not in District 2 in Muncie. But if I was in District 2 in Muncie, I would be pressing Josh Talby once as many times as I could possibly press it. So he's not her. And so that's that. Troy Ingram, Councilman Ingram, that's a good thing that you popped in here. I'm glad to see you. So far, I have, let me look at the thing here. I should have had this popped up here already. Hello there. Good evening from the recliner. Yes, thank you. Welcome for joining. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I mixed those words up. So it looks like I already have some confirmations here from So, out of 24 City of Muncie candidates, I already have confirmation from. Out of 24 candidates, I have 4 confirmations already. I don't want to name those people just yet because I want to make sure I have a chance to touch base with everyone. And once I do that, then I will release who I've contacted and who has what's happened. I just want to give it another business day or two. So I'll be able to let you guys know that in the next day or two. But I will tell you, I've had people on both the Republican and Democrat side say that they will. I've had a couple people kind of seem wishy-washy on whether or not they were going to interview. And I'll tell you, I've had a couple people who surprise me. A couple people that I've asked thinking, hey, this is going to be no issue, and they're gonna interview. And when I asked, they were like, oh, well, I'll let you know. I got to do this, this, and this. And so I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of surprising. So we will see. I'll let you guys know. This is going to be an interesting time. I have sent a message out to John Nicole. I have sent a message, and if he's willing to interview, if he wants to interview, I am more than willing. I also know I'm trying to get the mayoral candidates of Newcastle on as well. I know I'm going to be doing some people from Winchester, so it's going to be a big candidate ordeal. I'm actually not looking forward to it. It's one of the things that I'm not looking forward to. So it will be interesting, and we will keep you guys posted. Okay, so from there, last week, I had planned on talking about the City of Muncie budget this evening. But I have the budget. I've looked through the budget. I'm still looking through the budget. I'm not completely done with the budget, looking through it. The Muncie City Council will be meeting tomorrow evening. And when the council meets, they will be, the budget is one of those things that will be introduced. The council will vote to, I would assume they will vote to introduce the budget, and then they will have a month to look over it. I would assume, I have not heard that the Finance Committee is set up any meetings, but I would assume that the Muncie City Finance Committee will be at some point setting up some meetings and going through their regular process. And so because of that, I decided to do something a little different so we could be a little streamlined and so we weren't doing double duty. Tomorrow night is, being September 11th, tomorrow night is Monday the 11th, and it is because last week was the a holiday. The council meeting has been pushed forward till tomorrow. And that means tomorrow night there will be a Muncie City Council meeting at 7 p.m. on at City Hall. Now, we will be live streaming the meeting here, and the meeting will also be live streamed on the City of Muncie's page. It will also be live streamed on my Facebook page and on Twitter. So if you want to look at the Muncie City Council meeting, we will have it here for everyone to watch. Because of that, the council is not voting to introduce, or is not voting to accept the budget. All they're doing tomorrow is they're voting to introduce it, meaning the mayor has passed it to the council is looking at it, and now the council starts the job of looking at it. So instead of going through the budget today and going all through that and spending all tonight going through the budget, then coming back tomorrow and going through the council meeting and everything that happens during the Muncie City Council meeting tomorrow and the budget. I figured what we would do is we would designate tomorrow, Monday the 11th, to be the Muncie City Council night. So council meeting will run at 7 p.m. And then as soon as I get out of the meeting, as close to 9 as possible, we'll go on the next half hour after 9. So if we don't get out till 9, we'll go at 9:30. If we don't get out until 9:30, we'll go at 10. But whatever time we get out tomorrow, hopefully we're out before that, but you never know. We will do an update on the city council meeting tomorrow, and I will go through the budget then. We'll go through what the budget is, what they're looking at, if they're having any kind of issues, and I will know what the council's kind of looking at and what the council has to say, and if there's any discussion tomorrow during the meeting. So we are going to move the budget discussion from the city of Muncie tonight till tomorrow. All right. From there, Monday or Tuesday of this week, I should be getting a body cam record request from the city of Newcastle. That body camera footage is of the Newcastle's involvement in a stop that the Henry County Sheriff made that is very questionable, and we will be looking at that body camera. I also have touched base with the gentleman that is in the body camera, not obviously Sproles and not the other cops, but the guy that was stopped. I have made contact with him, and he will be appearing on our show a week from tomorrow. On Monday the 18th, he will be on the show. He'll be on here on the 19th. It's going to be awesome. He is a very interesting character. And let's just say again, the story that John Sproles seemed to weave was very far-fetched. I think that's a good way to say it. So that's going on. So what tonight is going to be a breakdown of what has been happening with the sheriff of Henry County and this newest situation. We've got a lot of people that are losing their minds because all of a sudden the sheriff of Henry County is appearing on Channel 8 like every day. He's on Channel 8 morning, evening, noon, and night. And he's appearing on all these segments, talking to all of these people about all of this craziness. And a lot of it is just lie after lie after lie. And a bunch of people think that he's going on some kind of this big media tour and that people are literally starting to buy into it. And we need to tell the truth when the truth is different from what this elected official is saying. So we're going to get into that in just a bit. Before we get there, though, I do want to reference what Audie is talking about here. So for anybody that watched, he's a black guy, and of course, that's going to be the name of tonight's episode is "And 3 Makes a Pattern." We'll talk about that in just a moment. So for anyone that watched my episode on Friday, I'm normally off on Friday. I was off last night. I'm normally off on Fridays. No, Channel 8 has not reached out to me, period. I've left messages for that specific reporter, and I cannot get in contact with him. I've sent emails. It's absolutely nuts. So what Audie is talking about is if anyone has not watched Friday's episode 25, it was myself and Ryan Webb, and then at the very end, I had some technical difficulties, and producer Kate jumped on and saved the day. So they carried it on out. But for anyone that did not watch that, I'll give you a quick synopsis. The Delaware County government is having a serious issue with its budget. They are anywhere in the neighborhood of, on the 2024 budget, $7 million over budget. Or if you're just striping it back to the 2023 budget and going from there, they're still about $2 million over budget. So either way you look, they have a problem and they need to be making some cuts. Well, during the budget meeting last week that lasted 13 hours on day one, 12 or 13 hours on day two, and then at least 7 or 8 hours on day three, all these 30 some hours they put in, they literally did not cut nearly anything. Matter of fact, they actually increased in some areas. And so it was very, 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 very bad. That's you, Alva, you definitely, yeah, exactly. That's absolutely, you're right. 100%. So it didn't seem like we were listening to the same thing. I was listening to what was going on and I was like, why do none of these people care what's happening? Then one of the judges said the magic word. The judge said, you have the ability to do this without cutting, without having to cut. And they all just kind of sat there. And I could tell Ryan Webb started steaming right then. And so, he was like, I hope you're not talking about what I think you're talking about. And he was like, you guys could always raise the lit tax. Let's see what Catherine says here. Just a shout out, Madison County did the same thing. And so in 2022, they raised the lit taxes to offset it. But then the auditor keeps spewing, we had $100,000 in the rainy day fund. It makes no sense to raise the lit tax. So my question is, how much do they have in their rainy day fund? That is a good question, Catherine. And I want to tell you, I sent you a message. I don't know if you got this or not. But I sent you a message Thursday. I was supposed to go to Lapel. I got under the weather Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday. I actually took Thursday night off. It hit me about 4 or 5 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, big time. And I laid down. I didn't do a show that night. I am so sorry for not attending that. No, I tested and it said I was negative, so I didn't. But you never know. Who knows anymore? Honestly, I'm positive. I've not been negative this go around. So thank God. Knock on wood. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. I'm just now getting back to feeling good. But I will tell you, the thing is, with this lit, it dawned on myself, and I think Brian had the same thought at the same time. These people, meaning the county councilors that are in that room with him, they've already talked of this. They've already talked about this sometime outside of this room. Now, we don't have any proof of that. I don't have any proof. If I did, I would be filing an open door law violation. But it seems as though that's what's happened. They have been made aware. I also have pretty good authority that the council candidates, the current council candidates, when they went before the Muncie Police Department Union and the Muncie Fire Department Union, all of them were asked questions, and on this questionnaire, somewhere on this questionnaire was, if you were elected, if you were, we endorsed you and you were elected, would you consider raising the lit, enabling the lit tax and raising the lit tax? And I'm hearing, and I've heard this from two different sources, that the candidates that said yes, were the candidates that got the endorsement. And yes, Catherine, they are all Republicans. Per President Jessica Piper on the first day of the budget meeting said, "We council are in a pickle." Chuckle. Yeah, yeah, LOL. We're in a pickle, and then let's just sit here for the next 30 some hours and not do a damn thing about it. You know, like we're in a serious world of hurt. But then, you know, they don't do anything. They laugh and giggle and snort and have a good old time, act like they're away at summer camp. I told FD that they had money from their EMS, that they didn't need it, but would consider it if needed for the police. Not a pickle, you need maybe that's why I don't know. I don't know. I would think, I'll be honest, I would think that she who shall not be named would be in favor of raising the lit, although she wouldn't want to make that publicly known. They are not using it. Oh no, Catherine, no, they're not. The Delaware County Commissioners. There's two people making the decision. There's two people making the decision of what happens with the ARP money. Only two commissioners that are making the call. The third one doesn't really count, and it doesn't matter. She goes along with the majority of the time, but even if she doesn't, you know, they outrule her anyways as far as that goes. And so yeah, no, they're not. It's no. We have a bunch of people over here that do not know how. We don't know. We got to have a bunch of people over here that do not know how to govern properly. And that's exactly right, Annie. She who shall not be named would do everything that she could to make sure everyone else would vote on it and make sure that there was enough votes for it so that she could be a no vote. And she could be like, look, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I couldn't have done it. So that's that. Okay. So we'll be talking about the Muncie budget tomorrow once the council gets it, once we tear into it. We have to now talk about what's going on in Henry County. Tomorrow, folks, will be all Muncie all the time. I promise it'll be a big, big night. It'll be a big day of Muncie. It'll be a big day of Muncie. So all of you Muncie fans, tune in tomorrow. We'll do all Muncie all the time. That being said, tonight, we need to take a look at what's going on with this situation of this newest Wish TV Channel 8 deal with the sheriff in Henry County, folks. It's rather bizarre. Give me a second as I try to pull up this video. So literally, we've got this guy down there that is the sheriff who couldn't police himself out of out of a paper bag, okay? And he's down there made the Columbo moment of the year, connecting two very bizarre situations and passed it off to Channel 8 to make himself look like he is some kind of hero. It's just shocking to me that he was able to do, or that Channel 8 was able to make the connection
Could you do me a favor?
that they made. Yeah.
Could you find some synonyms for the word shocking? It comes out of Sproles' mouth a lot, and every time you do it, I get like PTSD.
Ooh, shocking. I want to say ugly. What else does he say? He says
ugly. Don't want to get ugly. This is shocking. Just shocks me. Yeah. So those couple of things kind of, just, yeah, synonyms, Kristopher.
Yeah.
Pull up a thesaurus.
He says phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
come on, guys! You give us some of the other ones that bug you. Shocking kills me though. Shock.
Yeah, we'll have to look. It's and you got to do it, and you got to do it with that smile where your back tooth kind of gleams. I made a meme of him that I'm actually going to use for a thumbnail coming up, and I wish I could talk like him. It's unbelievable. I made a meme of him. I'm going to pull this up here real quick. And I actually went in and I colored one of the teeth silver for that little like glint that he's got. Oh, look at that. Are we froze? We were froze. Sorry. Damn it. All right. Hold on here. Let me find this. Right here. Look at this. Now, tell me that looks. I worked on this because the person wearing this uniform, the uniform is blue. It's not brown. That's obviously not him. He's wearing a eagle top badge, not a star. And so I had to do some serious work to get this into a brown uniform because that's not exactly the color that the sheriff uses. And he's more of a Class A kind of guy, but I still love that. I'm going to use that for a couple of things coming up here. So, okay, I've got the second video pulled up. I'm trying to pull up the third. Oh, I know where it's at. Give me one moment here. And I will pull up this first one because we need to watch these. And I want to break these down. And then this is what we're going to be doing later in this week. Folks, it's... it's very scary. All right, let me see if this is where it's at. Well, what channel is it on? Daisy. Okay. There's how I'll find it. Channel 8. Here we go. I forgot it was on their page. All right, we're just waiting for it to load here. Facebook runs so damn slow. Has anybody been feeling the earthquakes, the minor earthquakes that have been being felt in Indiana? Minor earthquake was reported Sunday morning along the Illinois-Indiana border with an epicenter 23 miles from Vincennes. This quake is the fourth one reported in the same location in less than a month. Anybody felt this in Indiana? That's interesting. Come on. Got to go this far back to get this. Sorry, we're almost there.
In the meantime, we did have a really nice meme sent to us by an anonymous source.
Oh, yes?
You want to see it?
Yeah,
I
hold
put
on.
it up, but you weren't paying any damned attention.
Yeah, I'm on the other thing.
I know.
Screen. Put it up.
Put it up. Here we go.
Yes, that's great.
I thought it was good.
Hey, to the person that's texting me, send it to me. I can't find it. I cannot find the other thing. I'm looking for the other. I'm looking for the first body camera footage. I cannot find it. It's not in any of my messages. And I'm back to September 8th on Wish TV. It should be here any second, but I've got to scroll until I get to it. And then every couple seconds,
and then every couple of seconds, Kristopher freezes again. Kristopher, are you still there? Oh, hell's bells. All right. Let me see what I can do about getting him, because he's dead.
Can anyone send me via Messenger?
You're really laggy, Kristopher.
I know. I'm trying. It's because I'm going back through this thing.
He did. He did.
What?
You did.
What?
Hell's bells. I am Midwestern. I'm from Northeast Ohio, so some things come out of my mouth that are a little weird. He's just really, really focused. Put your hand down, Kristopher. D-E-D, dead. He did. Okay. Are you out of the Facebook now? Because it's killing you.
I know. No, I'm almost there. I'm trying to find it.
Almost there.
Yeah, it was the 8th it was on. It's gotta be here. It was the 8th that it was shared.
Nibshits. No, I do not use that one. I think that's an Indiana thing, maybe. I don't know. Annie's froze again because Facebook is evil. Yeah, Greenville, Ohio is pretty close to Henry and Randolph County. It's right across the border from Randolph. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. You need to get like a bobblehead or something that moves in the background so we know when you're frozen.
Right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just glitching like Mitch McConnell, according to Josh Fisher.
Give me a second here. I found it and we're out of Facebook. Okay, I'm gonna try to shut some of this stuff down. Give me a second. I'm gonna try to shut some of this stuff down to see if it helps with the glitching.
Oh, okay. I'll hang around in case you get cut off again. I think you need to maybe like defrag or something.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, good Lord. Clean your hard drive, dear.
I don't know what that means.
Do we need to walk you through there?
That might very well be. All right, here we go.
Maybe. All right.
Damn it.
It's Chris McConnell. No, you're still really okay. No, you're kind of moving. Somebody walk Chris off the podium.
This is horrible.
Change your underwear.
Is there a way that I can do what you were talking about, like right now, or would it hurt me?
It will make you lag.
Okay, I don't want to do that then.
No, you don't want to do that.
Okay.
I will help you after the program. Let's just get through this. So do you have it pulled up to be able to show it?
Yeah, I've got it pulled up. I'm just waiting
Chris Fetterman. You look like Charlie McCarthy. Chris Feinstein. Can you send it to me?
Hold on. Okay, so am I there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, and you see me?
Yes. Whether you're actually moving or not is
okay. So literally, there's nothing else other than StreamYard. So there's nothing else on the computer right now.
Your mouth is moving now, so that's a good sign.
And StreamYard. StreamYard is literally the only thing that is up.
Okay.
So
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, so
no, there is never such a thing as too far on this program, Joey. Ever. Astounded. All right. If you think you're good to go, then I'm going to go hide again.
Hold on 1 second. No. 1 second. I'm trying to get this thing.
Look at the lips. The lips are moving.
I've never had this bad a problem. I don't understand what the problem is.
We'll optimize after and just clean up and defrag and all that fun stuff after we're done.
All right. So let's see if this works. Okay, here we go. We should be good, hopefully.
Okay, then I'm going to go away.
Yep, that's fine.
News 8 at 5 starts now.
We start with ITmate and this exclusive video showing two men who police say were pretending to be trained police officers. ITmate has also learned the two tried to start their own police department in a central Indiana town. Let's get right to senior investigative reporter.
I like that. I like that when she says that. She's like, we start right here with two men who are trying to act like trained police officers. And I'm like, yes. Not ever a bigger correct statement has ever been made. That might be the case. There's two men on that body camera right now trying to be trained police officers. Somebody that's blacked out and John Sproles. They're both apparently trying to be trained police officers. Now, I don't know about the cat that's blacked out, but I know John Sproles, he's having a hell of a hard time trying to act like a trained police officer. He just barely can't do it. That's the best statement. I was like, yeah, this is great. Listen to the statement again.
Start with ITmate and this exclusive video showing two men who police say were pretending to be trained police officers. ITmate has also learned the two tried to start their own police department in a central Indiana town. Let's get right to senior investigative reporter Richard Essex.
In May, two men showed up unannounced to an East Germantown council meeting. Their plan was to start a police department.
Two individuals came in here armed with firearms, one of them wearing a shirt that said police.
Guy doesn't ever blink.
Driving vehicles that they actually showed myself and other members of the town that included computers and just law enforcement looking apparatuses in it.
Joe Lips is the town attorney. He says the two men made their pitch to patrol the town, provide law enforcement at a cut rate price. The caveat, they wanted to be sworn into office that night. And they even provided their own oath of office for the town council president to read.
You know, it was about 2 paragraphs probably of just that they'll become deputized as our marshals and carry on their duties from there.
He said the guy looked like a cop and could have been charged with impersonating a police officer. It was the mention of his father's name that really got Lips' attention. Lips comes from a family of cops.
He told me that my father was actually his training officer when it came to being a reserve officer in the city of Richmond. But through unofficial search on that, nothing came back.
The two men offered their services to the town for $1. In return, they asked the town to provide vehicle insurance and a place to do paperwork. The town considered their proposal, but they needed a little bit more information before moving forward, like a background check, which I'm told was never provided.
We asked the questions. The council did its due diligence in interviewing them and questioning them for as much time as was allotted during the meeting. And then with follow-up with them over the phone, they didn't have answers. So it made it a real easy decision to decline their offer.
So who are these guys? Here is video ITmate obtained from the Newcastle Police Department. Sheriff John Sproles was off duty when he came across a black Dodge Charger without a license plate. He says the car looked like a retired police car. It had police.
How many different times are we going to hear that this sheriff comes across just these absolutely crazy situations while off duty? Here's what he needs to do. John Sproles needs to work an administrative shift, 7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And then he needs to go home and stay in his house. And on the weekends, he needs to go to the lake and go fishing, or go to Kentucky, or go to someplace. He needs to. Hey, good night, Alva. I hope you have a good night, brother. He needs to be doing. He needs to be doing something, but he needs to stay the hell off the street in plain clothes, acting like he's working as some kind of undercover cop. That's what he wants to do. He does more work off duty than he does on duty. All right. So listen to what he says here.
Police lights, a center console with a laptop computer in the front seat, just like you would find in a police car. And the driver is armed. The driver told Sheriff Sproles that he was hoping to start a police department in East Germantown. This video was taken July 2nd, almost 2 months after the May East Germantown Council meeting.
It's not said and done yet, but I'm hoping for the town of Pershing, Germantown. Is that Indiana or how? It's Indiana. It's outside between Richmond and what's that? So who's the marshal there? There's no marshal yet, but they're trying to start the police department.
The driver told Sheriff Sproles that he was coming from Detroit. That was a lie.
You didn't come from Michigan today. Go ahead and face up to it. You want to be a police officer? We're dealing with so much of this stuff that we're sick and tired of it. We're sick and tired of these little towns. You've already been arrested for impersonating. And I'm not trying to be ugly. All right, brother, I care about you. I'm not, just please understand, all right? But for the citizens, man, for the citizens, if you will lie to me, if you will lie to us, here's my big concern. You know we can get the facts, right? You'll lie to us. What will you do to people who ain't going to figure this stuff out? This is what bothers me. I'm just speaking from my heart here, okay?
Remember the two guys that tried to start a police department in East Germantown?
Well, guess what? One of those guys happened to be a guy that we are watching, who is a known gang member, trying to infiltrate, and he was one of them. We are monitoring. There is a nationally recognized violent gang who has the goal to infiltrate small town departments.
Infiltrate? What the hell kind of word is infiltrate?
We know of a gang member, a gang leader who has had expunged records, has spent an enormous amount of time in prison, who got a badge in a small town in Indiana because his buddy was the town marshal.
The Indiana General Assembly has put limits on the number of marshals a town can have. In Indianapolis, Richard Essex, Wish TV, iTeam 8.
And they're all
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to hello?
Your sound is working just fine. Your camera
Yeah.
is lagging slightly at points. Just keep,
All right.
if it gets
So,
really bad, I will say something.
yeah, let me know if it gets wonky. So, what we need to do is now compare what we heard there to the truth of what he said during the meeting, the very first time he ever talked about any of this. Does anybody remember when that was? That was a meeting back on July 6th when he talked about all of this for the very first time.
2 miles, 3 miles from here. And I'll be honest with you, this sounds bad, but I don't see phenomenal problem. And I know that I sound harsh. I don't know how else to put it. This is collectively, I don't mean in here. I'm concerned that a lot of these officers, I'm going to give you an example. One of our state trooper friends told me this just a couple days ago. He can give you specifics for many, many things.
I got a question,
Yes,
Sheriff.
sir. Yes.
So
They're running security all over. You talk about creating tensions and creating a, it's within your purview to write tickets, but no kidding. I don't know who the guy is. I will start that way. They keep checking. Anybody else? You all did. And other people said, yeah. I don't. So let me give you an example why we might need contact information. Greensboro police again. I'm out on a traffic stop. Okay. I'm in here. Who wrote the ticket and all that? I'm talking. The reason I said, well, you're not an officer, because he said, I don't understand. Because these people they're not trained. You have a 40-hour course that you can get done in 15. How many people don't even have Aries? That's the state crash force.
I can show you where I've trained my guys.
A good thing it may not. I'm telling you this. Here is my problem, and I'm going to make it crystal clear. I have a problem with bad, just nonstop pull over. Do their own police department, but just know that a captain over here that's been here for. And hey, we've got your back. We're on your same team. No, you're not.
Checks because we background.
Sheriff, yes, sir. Just we're near here that can come in and log in. That was ran when they got access. In my day, that I think I'm going to run River Court. It never crossed my mind. I might run about Burt. But I will say this, just to be fair, when I talk about transparency, I want to have hard conversations. The tension is building. Good point, and yes,
We're getting
a reasonable understanding of why do I have people driving? I'll tell you, that's an easy answer.
21 minutes
Okay,
in.
Unless you got people out watching, and it's what he's talking about, accountability. His officer walked up, just keep going. I said, you've given me time frames of coming.
Okay, listen to
So
this.
I want you to hear these. I'm not anymore. I said, okay. Just no markings, no play. And so 22 police officers in Greensboro, as I said. You know how
Here we go.
have a 765 area code? 0. Not one of them. Not one of them have a 765 area code, and there's 22 of them in Greensboro of a town of 130. Here's the bottom line. That is a badge factory. That's all it is. They have had somebody talk them into starting a police department. I'm going to talk about that for a second. This just ties into the concerns that I have. We'll talk about starting a police department. I was eating ice cream in the Ace Hardware parking lot the other day. And just looking at State Road 3, I saw a black unmarked Charger with.
So he's in the Ace Hardware eating ice cream, which means he would be facing east. His car would be facing east, and he's facing 3. And there's a black Charger driving down 3. So all he sees is the side of the car. This is in the middle. It's daytime. So chances are he maybe saw the car. He saw the car, saw the color. Maybe he saw it was a black guy. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But he saw that it was a black Charger. He couldn't see if it had a license plate on it or not. He's eating ice cream off duty, plain clothes, unmarked car.
With spotlights on both sides. Excuse me. So I thought, I'm going to go catch up with him. See.
Spotlights on both sides. There's nothing wrong with that. There's tons of cars out there that drive with that there. That's not illegal. So he all of a sudden sees this black Charger with spotlights on both sides, and he says, I'm going to go catch up with this and see what it is while he's off duty. Why?
Pull up to him, there's no plate on it at all.
He pulls up to it, and there's no plate on it at all. All right. In the state of Indiana, that's an infraction. Now, I don't know many sheriffs that are going to get so excited over an infraction that they literally break the law to stop that infraction from incurring. It's not a murder taking place. It's not a hand-to-hand drug transaction. It's not Sproles' other crime that he likes, child trafficking. It's an infraction.
No plate, just no markings, no plate. And so I was off duty, not in uniform, so I called the city.
I was off duty, not in uniform. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, here's what I would have done. All right? Here's what I would have done if I was in his situation. Okay? I'm going to tell you what the difference would have been. If for some unknown reason I would have needed this car stopped. Yeah, I don't know why I would have needed to stop it. I definitely, if I was sheriff, I wouldn't have stopped it for having a license plate out. Or not license plates. Maybe you call a unit, maybe you don't, whatever. He needed to get on the radio, or he needed to call his guys. He knows who's on, or he should. He's the sheriff. He could get on that radio, whether he's working or not, anytime he wants. He's the sheriff. He'd get on there and he'd say, 33-1, could you advise me if we have any units close to the city? And they'd get on, a couple of them get on and say, yeah, one, I'm down here. I'd be like, could you TX my cell phone real quick? And then they'd call me on the phone. I'd say, hey, I got a black Charger down here. I'm going to follow this. I need you to get up behind me. I'm off duty. I'm in plain clothes, and I need you to pull this over. It's got a thing. And then I would have let that car get up to me. I would have followed that car wherever it was going, and I would let my unit get up to me, and I would pull it over. What I would not have done is I wouldn't have got on the unit and said, hey, can I get another agency involved? Could you start the city down this way? Sheriff has the ability to call his guys. Okay, so he gets on the horn and he calls for the city. All right. So hey, I think he spilt his Rocky Road cone a little bit later. We'll talk about that. Okay. So here he goes. He gets on the radio and he calls for Newcastle guys.
Let's start a unit. And when he said he's getting pretty close, there was a safe area for us, and I'm going to go ahead and line him up. So I walk up to him and I said,
all right. Whoa. We've already committed a crime here. We've jumped the shark. Newcastle's dispatch said they were close. We were in a safe area, so I went ahead and pulled them over. What do you mean a safe area? Cops make traffic stops everywhere. Where was not a safe area? What do you mean you were in a safe area? What does that mean? The law doesn't say you can't pull these people over unless you're in a safe area. It says for this infraction, Sproles, the law says this. Sproles, smack. You can't pull this car over, you idiot, in basketball shorts and an unmarked car, dude. Okay, you just can't do it. You cannot do it. So he finds out that Newcastle's close, so he goes ahead and he breaks the law anyways, and he pulls this car over. Sproles breaks the law.
I said, hey, I'm trying to keep it light. I said, hey, listen, I've got a marked unit pulled up here. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, I've got a mark on duty, but I still don't know what you're talking about.
So then he pulls and goes up to the guy, and he tries to like cover for himself, saying like telling some story. He's interjecting too much into it that doesn't need to be, and so it just makes it a lie. He's like, I got a marked unit back here. It doesn't matter. You got the marked unit back here. You're
what is the
one
point
that
of
made
telling this story? All he's doing is implicating himself. Why tell this story?
Right. Absolutely. All right. So forward ho.
I said, well, obviously not a police officer. Step out here and talk to me. So I said, are you a police officer? He said, kind of. I said, okay, what does kind of mean? He said, well, I was a caddis police officer recently. I'm not anymore. I said, okay. I said, where'd you get the car? I got it from Detroit, Michigan. Long story. He gives me this line. I just drove from Detroit. Bottom line, he just sitting there. You've seen the video. Lying his rear end off. Just lying. I knew who he was. He's already been arrested for impersonating a police officer here in our county.
I knew who he was. He has already been arrested for impersonating a police officer here in our county. And I'm going to tell you about that, okay? So listen to what he said. Sproles said I already knew who he was. Now, wait a minute. I thought when Sproles started to pull him over, he wanted to see who he was. So you mean to tell me Sproles... Listen, I wouldn't put it behind this. Sproles out here has this hard-on for these guys. I wouldn't put it past him to go out here trolling, actively looking for these people to do this stuff on. If you want to know the truth. Because it just seems too coincidental that this happened on July 6th. July 2nd, and this meeting happens on July 6th. You know, that traffic stop happened just 4 days before this meeting. You know, I do not understand. Okay? So let's go on.
So I told him, I said, man, look, here's my problem. He said, I'm almost a police officer. I said, I'll explain that one to you. He said, well, my buddy, and guys, hear these words, these are important, okay? Some of you guys may have already heard it from town boards. My buddy's trying to start a police department in East Germantown. I said, where's that at? I know where it's at. He said, yeah, Pershing, East Germantown, Pershing. I said, where's yeah. I said, where's that at? They didn't want you to be the marshal. They just said that. That's probably the other guy was going to get it. So I said, where's that at? I said, I think it's somewhere near I-70. I said, okay. Who's your buddy that's trying to start the police department? So he gave me a name. I later called the sheriff of Wayne County. He's a guy who's been arrested multiple times. So I want you to hear these words. He said, he's trying to start a police department. I think they're going to let us do it. I'm going to be the deputy chief. I'm going to be the assistant chief. So I said, well, let me talk about some issues that I have, some serious issues. And I'll tell you, this upsets me. I said, you've been lying from the time that I walked up here. And I said, you knew when I walked up, first thing he says, I know who you are. So you've been lying to me ever since I walked up. When his officer walked up, just keep lying. I said, you've given me time frames of coming from Detroit, Michigan. You forgot to get your time frames really good because you had to get to Detroit, Michigan and back with that car in 2 hours. So he starts crying. He starts crying. I said, dude, here's my concern. You will lie to me. You will lie to this other officer. Knowing full well we can get the facts. You've been arrested for impersonating a police officer. You want to read that report. Red and blue lights in his car, flying up and down the road. He ends up getting stopped. And you know what he said? Just want to see what it feels like. That's scary. You want to lie to me? What would you do to my 17-year-old daughter when you pull her over somewhere way out of your territory? That's my concern. We have got rogue police officers. We have officers that have been arrested.
Now, I want to talk about that traffic stop, okay?
So
Listen.
He's talking about a 17-year-old daughter getting pulled over in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
He would be okay with an off-duty cop in shorts and a T-shirt with a gun strapped to him in an unmarked vehicle trying to pull over his daughter.
Yeah, right.
That would be okay as long as they were a real cop.
Yeah, right.
How do you know unless they're in uniform and in a marked car? That's dangerous. He's lucky the guy pulled over for him.
Yeah. So, all right, I want to say this to you. All right. Yeah, Kate, that's exactly right. He is lucky the guy pulled over for him. So I want to let you hear this. This Riddick, this man that he pulled over in this vehicle that day, was in 2017. In the passenger side seat of a Jeep that he bought. And the Jeep, for some unknown reason, had sirens and red and blue lights in it. And he and his girlfriend were in the vehicle driving up and down a road out in the county. Not in downtown Newcastle, not in Muncie, not anywhere where there were lots and lots of people. They were just up and down a road, a county road, turning the lights and sirens on and just driving up and down the road. They get back to his home, her home. They pull in the driveway, and a deputy pulls in behind them. And they walk up to this couple. Female's driving the car. Female's in the driver's seat. Male is in the passenger side. When the officer made contact with them, they were not flashing their red and blue lights, and they were on private property. The deputy walks up and makes contact with them, finds out that she's driving, but it's his vehicle he just bought. They tell him what they were doing. They said, yeah, we were doing this. The deputy calls higher up, his officer in charge, and says, hey, this is what I got. Do I arrest them for impersonating? And he was told no. Write a ticket for improper display of red and blue lights. It's a ticket. Disable the lights and head out of there. So through talking to him a little bit more, he finds out that one or two cars did yield for them. So while they were driving up and down just this road, a car happened to be coming, and the car pulled over when they saw them. Now, when this kid, allegedly, this is all allegedly. The other thing that you have to know about this kid is he owned a business where he did funeral escorts. So, funeral escorts in the state of Indiana, there was a time where you could have red and amber lights in your car, and you could display those while doing your funeral escort, but that's all. You could not turn them on any other time. So what he needed to do was change the cover on these lights or whatever. It's kind of like a Jeremy DeWitt, but not really. He's a young kid. He's like 20-some years old, 21 years old, okay? And his girlfriend was driving the car and wanted to see what it was like to fly up and down the road. So they did it. The officer should have wrote them a ticket for improper display of red and blue lights and got the hell out of there. When they found out that one car yielded, the cop called the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor said, yeah, you can get him for impersonating a police officer. So while he was not in uniform, didn't have a gun on, and was sitting in the passenger side of the car, the deputy arrested the black man and let the white girlfriend go. The girlfriend, who was actually operating the vehicle and was driving up and down and operating them, she didn't get charged. A grown-ass man? What are you kidding me? "20 years old? I don't know if I mean, he's an adult. I don't know if I call that a grown-ass man. I mean, yeah, legally. But let me tell you what happened. That kid driving that car hold on one second. Hold on one second. I don't know. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I would not have made that arrest. I would not have called. You know what I would have done? I would have wrote her a ticket. I would have wrote her a ticket for improper display of red and blue lights. I would have disabled the red and blue lights, or moreover had him I would have had him disable them. I would have wrote the white girlfriend a ticket, and I would have let them go. That's that. I would just that's the way. That's the way. Oh yeah, let them off for the warning. Whatever. I'm just saying, if you had a hard on and you felt like you needed to do something, you know, I would have gave the ticket. Hell, that's a $400 ticket. $500 ticket. You wanted to teach a lesson for some reason, you could have done that. You know, this guy, you know what he did? He went in and he pled guilty. Didn't talk to an attorney, didn't do nothing. He wanted it to go away. He was so upset because he assumed this was going to wreck his job of being a funeral transport. It was going to wreck his chance of being a cop. He wasn't out there doing the thing where he's trying to impersonate a cop and being a badass. He wasn't doing any of that. They were not pulling anybody over. They weren't messing with people. They were just driving. They were just joyriding. How many of us have went out and joyride out in the country, 100 miles an hour, going as fast as you can. The only thing difference, we didn't have our lights. We didn't have lights and sirens on. So, you know, I'm just saying, had that kid talked to an attorney, they could have beat that case. No question. No question. So for Sproles to say that they were out there just flying up and down the road and he's been in, you know. Arlise. I'd like to see that stop. I'm just saying, I think what Sproles did was crazy. I think Sproles needed a story to fit his meeting here, and just lo and behold, man, it fell into his lap. Now, I want you to see from this kid, you know, they blacked him out and put the blur on him. All right. I want you to look at this kid and tell me what kind of gang monster we're seeing here.
Circle City Bargains.
Newspapers.com is your source for news ranging from the 1700s all the way through today.
Information from I-Team 8 tonight. A Henry County man says the sheriff has unfairly targeted him because of the car he drives. This comes just 2 days after we showed you the exclusive video of the traffic stop leading up to the allegations. Today, our senior investigative reporter, Richard Essex, talked to the man at the center of that video.
And in that video, he was, I'm not sure, he was calling me saying I was a part of a gang. I was going around to small towns trying to infiltrate, you know, and trying to become the police chief. And
Elavante Riddick says he doesn't have any connection to any gang and is not aware that any of his friends do either.
I'm here for you. You need something?
Here is the video we showed you 2 days ago of Riddick being pulled over by the Henry County Sheriff. Riddick was on his way home in a retired police car he said he bought just a few days before. At the time he was pulled over, he was considering becoming a deputy marshal, and he had not seen the video until we showed it to him.
Now he's like asking questions that doesn't even pertain to me driving without a license plate. He's asking about the lights in the car, the wires were cut. He's telling me about the problems he's had with small towns, pulling people over, and just making a bad name for themselves. Just none of this stuff pertains to me driving without a license plate anymore.
He says a friend of his was trying to start a police department in East Germantown. Sheriff Sproles told me that one of the men trying to start that department had served time in prison and was associated with a gang. Riddick says that just doesn't add up.
I know I used to work with them at the Newcastle prison. He was a corrections officer there. But I don't, to my knowledge, I have no knowledge of him ever being arrested.
Riddick told me that he has an associate's degree in criminal justice and has completed basic police training. His dream was to become a police officer. He worked for a short time on a small department there in Henry County. He was also convicted of impersonating a public servant in 2018.
So there were red and blue lights on a green SUV. I was sitting in the passenger seat. And then the deputy at the time was asking numerous questions, like where was I working or if I had arrest powers. I don't remember the whole logistics of it. It's been a while, but I know there was, personally, I think that arrest should have never happened.
Riddick says that he has given up on becoming a police officer, at least for the foreseeable future. He said when his car was towed, it cost him close to $700 to get it back. And he feels like he was targeted by the sheriff. In Henry County, Richard Essex, Wish TV, I-Team 8.
Wish TV is focused on family and the community.
The storm track.
I mean, for the love of God, what do we have going on here? Tell me. Oh, yeah, they towed the car because it didn't have license plates on it. And guess where it got towed to? It got towed to the same company that Sproles had the bus towed to. Imagine that. So we're going to be talking to that kid. We're going to be talking to that kid. We're going to be looking at the body camera. And this is the kicker. I'm getting ready to drop. Remember, you all remember back on the 7th of July? Man, that was a long time ago. We were on a whole nother network and everything at that time. Remember when I dropped you some really crazy breaking news at the end of another story? Matter of fact, it was at the end of this story right here. It was at the end of this story. Whoops, what's that? I don't want to get off that. It's the end of this story right here where Sproles had this meeting in here and was pissing off all of his small town officers with the Newcastle Police Department, going crazy, doing crazy shit. At the end of this, I did a commentary where I talked about what happened in the meeting. And at the end of that video, I just said in passing, oh, by the way, there's also another incident that occurred, 5:30 vote, but it's okay for the sheriff to do it. Yeah, man. In December, I said it. There's another incident that's happening where they shot an inmate with a beanbag gun several times. Matter of fact, this guy on the screen right here who kept getting up out of his seat the entire time, that's Stacy Guffey. He kept getting phone calls and stuff and running out of the room. He was dealing with that beanbag shooting right then. Okay? Well, I'm going to do you another one of those things right here. Yeah, you were a co-host on that other network. Charlize, you know, I don't happen to see them that frequently. You know, I don't see them nearly as much as we're seeing Sproles. I mean, I've not seen, you know, have you seen anybody? Has anybody seen Tony Skinner this much on any of the news channels? I mean, I haven't. It's really, really weird. Well, and I'll tell you that I'm going to give you some breaking news, or I'm going to start to tell you about some breaking news, but before I do, I'm going to look for one more thing, because that last story you said just happened to see if this is it. Yeah, look here.
Is all Indiana politics.
Good Sunday morning. Welcome to another edition of All Indiana Politics. I'm Phil Sanchez. We begin today with a huge announcement in this year's race for the mayor of Indianapolis. Wish TV will host
an incredible amount of development.
Voters. Let's begin with voters. Let's begin with the voters. Let's begin with the
are being proven wrong by.
He got nearly three quarters. He got nearly three quarters of the vote in. He got nearly three quarters. He got nearly three quarters of the vote in.
What he's going to do, not just about what he has done. What he's going to
what
do,
in the
not
hell?
Just about what he has done. We're seeing an incredible amount of development downtown.
Can you not fast forward this? I have no intention of watching it all.
Who will be a great leader for our city, which I absolutely believe he will do. And then he also needs to help people understand that, in fact, the problems our city's facing, the problems they see when they walk around and when they hear about things on the TV.
Yeah, because
that are a direct cause and direct correlation.
Jefferson-Shreve debate, because
he also appeared on this, whatever this is, and for some reason it's not allowing me to fast forward, which is ridiculous. You can see here in the writing it says later on iTeams Richard Essex reports on Indiana's town marshal programs getting out of hand in Henry County. 2 months ago, iTeam 8 reported small towns have more than 60 deputy marshals. Indiana doesn't maintain a list of deputy marshals and deputy marshals currently working, leading to an overabundance of town marshals and some people impersonating town marshals for their own benefit. So, yeah, the answer to your question, what's wrong with that guy's face, and what is happening? Why is Sproles showing up so frequently on all of this? It's like yeah, why is that happening?
I want to turn now to a challenge
Here we
facing
go.
state and local leaders around Indiana. The use of town marshals programs in Indiana. Our iTeam obtained a video of two men who police say were pretending to be trained police officers. iTeam 8 has also learned that two tried to start their own police department in a central Indiana town. Here's senior investigative reporter Richard Essex.
In May, two men showed up unannounced to an East Germantown council meeting. Their plan was to start a police department.
Two individuals came in here armed with firearms, one of them wearing a shirt that said police, and driving vehicles that they actually showed myself and other members of the town that included computers and just law enforcement looking apparatuses in it.
Joe Lips is the town attorney. He says the two
We
men
don't need to
made
watch
their
this again, obviously. It is what it is. But that's the second time, man. It's mind-boggling. So, has jury trial coming up, so he and Chris Will are calling up the news stations to point him in. Ha, 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 Grace. That's really, that is right. That is, that's a very good possibility that they're trying to boost his appearance. Well, here comes the late breaking news as we get ready to end the show for tonight and let you know that we have a lot of news to cover the rest of the week on all of this. So keep in mind, just another brief housekeeping moment. Tomorrow, it's going to be City of Muncie and the City of Muncie budget. We're also going to be looking at what's going on with the Delaware County budget and what's going on with the lit tax in the City of Muncie and Delaware County. So that's tomorrow right here. On Tuesday, hopefully we will be showing the second part of this, which will be looking at the body cam footage, and we'll be digging into that because I will have the body cam footage where they show Riddick out on the side. We'll have the full body cam footage. I'm also going to be getting the radio dispatch and all of that. So we'll hear exactly what Sproles was saying and every bit of that information. And then Wednesday and Thursday, as we get ready to end the week down, we have a candidate debate that will be live on location for. And we have a couple of other things that we'll be dealing with. And so it will be interesting. You guys won't want to miss that. We have a lot to talk about. That being said, the big news that I'm going to be breaking here is also Sproles related. At the end of last week, I was made aware of an incident currently ongoing with Sproles that I am digging into, and I'm letting everybody know. If anyone has any information on this, please try and get this information to me. I'm not going to go all into the details because this is still early on, but this is kind of like the shooting incident, and I'm going to break it here early. And there are going to be people who are going to say, no, that didn't happen. But I'm letting you know, just like the beanbag shooting, it did. At some point here recently, Sproles, for some unknown reason, was in need of cash. And he was in need of some fast cash and lots of cash. And he needed and wanted to get a loan, I think, without going through the bank. It's kind of maybe skirting around those interest rates, or who knows what he was looking to do. But he was wanting to get a good big chunk of cash. Now, I've heard the amount, but I'm not going to talk about it. But let's just say it's a lot of money. It's a lot. And he's been asking around. Matter of fact, even going as far as promising if individuals would loan it to him, it would get him a special, the loanee, the loaner, the loan shark, a special deputy ID and badge. And then apparently at some point the money was going to be a little less than what Sproles wanted, and they're like, okay, let's do it. And then Sproles decided to pull back on giving the special deputy ID. And at that point, it kind of fell flat. Now, I've heard this from 3 different sources this last week. And this is coming from 3 really strong sources. So I'm telling you, when he's talking about badge factories, I don't know if there's anything ever more disgusting than the fact that you've got a sheriff willing to give someone, or at least stating that they're willing to give someone, police credentials for loan. Badge factory, check. Next. I don't know, when you're talking about people being just absolutely running amok, doing things, running people in the system that they shouldn't be running. Are we talking about the marshals, or are we talking about Sproles? Yeah, right? Yeah, absolutely. So, when you're talking about people running around and doing a bunch of crazy things, like pulling cars over, making traffic stops while not in the proper uniform or marked car, are we talking about the marshals, or are we talking about Sproles? So, this title, and 3 makes a pattern, is kind of like multiple times over. 3 different incidents with 3 different people of color. Sproles, Riddick, Winston and the Bus People, and Roger Humphreys, okay, go together, and Neil, okay. There's your 3 people there. All right, check. Badge factory, people getting arrest powers and police credentials who don't deserve it. Number 1, making traffic stops outside of the legal way to make traffic stops. Number 2, doing things in the police computers that you shouldn't be doing and searching people's and doing things outside of official business. 3. All right. And then just the fact that he is not willing to communicate, not willing to be transparent, and not willing to be held accountable. And I think, folks, you have the trifecta of trifectas here. This guy's like the unholy trinity of everything bad in not only law enforcement, but politics and citizenship. This guy's like the con artist, the criminal. What's another C word? Well, I got another C word, but we'll end on that. So I think oh, God. There's Kate's always there to do the right thing, and I tell you. Oh, God. So, just letting you guys know, there's a lot going on here with Sproles, folks. It's dirty. It's dirty, 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 dirty. And we got a lot going on. So just know that I'm going to still be looking into this. If you guys have anything, let me know. I've been getting a lot of good information in. I've been getting some great information in on the city of Muncie. And just to end, bouncing back really briefly from Sproles, just to show you that this stuff's going everywhere and everything is just bad and dirty and broken and everything is just so yucky all over and everywhere. I just want to make sure that people are aware. I'm still very much paying attention to what is going on in the city of Muncie and everything that's happening there. I want to show you guys something that just blows my mind. We covered this the other day just briefly. I didn't go into great detail on it, but I want to just mention this now as we wrap up. This was on Jeff Robinson's page. This was on September 6th. And he shared the Star Press article of the shooting task force meets outside of the public eye for talk on guns, crimes, and juveniles. We go here and we look at this newspaper article, okay? Let me make sure that we get the newspaper article shared. Sure, it's big enough. Okay, it is. All right, it says shooting task force meets outside of public eye for talk on guns, crime, and juveniles. A multi-agency task force met for the first time Thursday, August 31st, to consider a way forward for the city after the shooting July 30th killed one man and wounded 17 others. The shooting occurred at the block party this summer in an industrial neighborhood. Mayor Dan Ridenour said that he expects the size of the 17-member task force to increase at future meetings. He also said in those sessions that he would follow Indiana open door laws and be open to the public, unlike the meeting last week. Look at how many people are in this meeting, okay? All these people in here talking about things, discussing things, talking about what is Clay Shaw doing back there in the back? What's going on with this? What are these people? What do any of these people know about anything? I know there's a couple people in there that know some shit, but I mean, this is ridiculous, okay? Right now are gathered people by invitation. Listen to this! Right now are gathered people by invitation only from assorted groups, including neighborhood organizations, local law enforcement, and members of his administration, to discuss what changes are needed to prevent violent episodes like the one at Willard and Hackley Streets in late July. Groups represented included the Muncie Parks Department, the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, the Muncie Police Department, Industrial Neighborhood, Concerned Clergy, Delaware County Prosecutor's Office, Real Black Excellence, Muncie Fire Department, the Muncie Board of Works. Why? Who in the hell? What in the hell? What in the world? There were no members of the Muncie City Council in task force, which resulted in criticism from his political opponent, as it should. Why in the hell would there not be a member from City Council up here? I wish I could say I'm surprised to not see any City Council members on this task force, considering they're reviewing local ordinances. But it's become a habit for this administration to include the Senate body in most discussions, said Jeff Robinson, president of the council and Ridenour's opponent for mayoral bid re-election in November. In almost every case for the past 4 years, the council is relegated to learning about the city business through press releases or the Bilbrey show. When asked about having, which has been called Perception is Reality, The Bastards of Politics, Bilbrey Live, 8:30 live at 8:35, and of course the Political Spotlight. When asked about having no one from the council, Ridenour said he intends to bring on council members as the task force draws closer to developing an ordinance for council consideration. Robinson said he thought the task force had value, but was critical of Ridenour for not being more proactive. It's unfortunate but unsurprising that it takes a mass shooting for the current administration to appear to get more serious about our citizens' safety, Robinson said. Since day one, this administration has been very reactive rather than proactive to the needs of our community. Putting the health and safety of our citizens front and center should always be a top priority, not just after tragedy strikes. Another Democrat serving on the task force, County Prosecutor Eric Hoffman, said the task force was worthwhile and opening communication across the community. Overall, I think the meeting was very productive, he said, but the Thursday meeting was apparently conducted in violation of Indiana's open door law requiring government meetings to be open to the public unless gathering meets certain specific criteria outlined by the law, such as litigation strategies, contract negotiations, and personnel evaluations, etc. While task forces are often an effective way to take action on pressing matters like gun violence, they just abide by the same open door laws regularly meeting bodies as they are an arm of the government, said Amelia Dieter McClure, executive director of the Hoosier State Press Association. Luke Britt, the Indiana Public Access Counselor, a state agency, also said it sounded as if the meeting should have been open to the public under the law. Britt said that some internal city meetings can be closed to the public, but given the number of people present at Thursday's gathering who are not employees of the city, such an exemption would likely not apply. Ridenour said he simply did not think about opening the meeting to the public and inviting the press, but said he would do so going forward. Why would he simply not think about that? He would simply not think about that. And that's why no one from the public should simply think about electing this fool. I just don't understand it. The mayor told the Star Press that the 2-hour meeting set a director for the task force, which is who, with participants gravitating into areas of concern. One focusing on reaching out to families, churches, and individuals in an effort to discourage the carrying of guns. Stay the hell away from me. Another group looked at a change in the city's noise ordinance and exploring methods of enforcement to prevent large gatherings from getting out of hand. The Muncie Board of Works permit issued for the outdoor party where the shooting erupted had declared 75 people would attend. Estimates of the actual number of partygoers at Willard and Hackley have been in excess of 1,000 people. During the meeting, Hoffman said he asserted that the community needed to use the broken windows technique of law enforcement, which holds that paying attention to small issues and violations prevents larger problems. Little things lead to big things, Hoffman said. Accordingly, city ordinances must be enforced. The prosecutor said he was glad to hear from some of the nonprofit groups at the meeting, and the task force represented a diverse group of people beyond the usual voices. Sheriff Tony Skinner agreed. We've got to have a buy-in from the community, he said. Much violent crimes in Muncie can be tracked back to juvenile justice issues in the community, according to Hoffman. Juvenile probation really needs to step up and start holding these juvenile delinquents accountable instead of giving them a chance after chance after chance after chance, Hoffman said. That does nothing but enable future criminal behavior. This point had the most agreement among everyone there. The juvenile justice system in Delaware County is broken. We must go back to the Judge Stephen Caldemeyer method of holding juveniles and their parents accountable. In the late 80s, the late Judge Caldemeyer led a charge to help build what is now the Youth Opportunity Center to treat children and families in Delaware County. The majority of the group agreed that Caldemeyer's model of juvenile justice court worked well. Now most juveniles know that they can get away with a lot of criminal activity with very little repercussions. The soft on crime juvenile detention alternative initiative has been a complete failure, Hoffman said. Punish those little bastards, I think is what he meant. The prosecutor and mayor were in agreement regarding what appears to be a nearly ubiquitous presence of guns in Muncie. Firearms can be found in many places, in the hands of children as well as criminals. There are too far many guns in the hands of juveniles and convicted felons, Hoffman said. Parents who allow their children to carry firearms will be prosecuted. Right now, our families and churches need to play a role in disarming youngsters and other people in the city. Really weird.
So all this whole meeting is about blaming the attendees again.
Yeah.
Blaming the attendees again.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't put this all off on the police, everyone said. You put it off on this guy crying.
Yeah, crying. Yeah. What was it, a juvenile that shot up the party?
No, I don't think so.
So how does that come? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't know like how they jumped to that. Like, shouldn't we be trying to solve who killed these people? Who killed this person first? Well, I think we know, but like, what's going on with this case? Ridenour says he understands the law in Indiana allows people over the age of 18 to legally carry a gun without a license, but he expects there will be an effort to convince some to choose not to carry a loaded weapon with them. 18 people were wounded during the shooting spree in the early morning hours of July 30th. Joseph Bonner Muncie died from his injuries. John L. Vance Jr., 36, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery, along with unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. Justin Elliott Bonner, 29, the brother of the man who died, was also preliminarily charged with a criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon in late August. Ridenour said a date for the next meeting had not been set, and you can bet your sweet behind that it will be a long while off until we have it. I would be willing to say, oh man, I'd be willing to say that we won't have another meeting until after the election. I want to know what you all think. I think that this was just a touchy-feely, feel-good thing that is just basically what it is.
It reminds me of the meetings they were having here in Randolph County about suicide prevention.
Yeah.
Where it's a bunch of beautiful people who show up in a room and they all pat themselves on the back and say, oh, look, it's so horrible, but look at me and I'm coming to help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And meanwhile, nothing happens and we continue to have a suicide rate here in Randolph County.
Yeah.
That's just off the charts.
Yeah.
To the point where we have 14 and 15-year-olds starting nonprofits to try to help with suicide awareness here in the county.
Oh, what?
14-year-old kid. Chasing Sunsets, if anybody's interested. Suicide awareness in Randolph County, Chasing Sunsets Incorporated.
That's weird. Where does that come from? What? Whose thing is that? I've not heard of that.
It's a 14 or 15-year-old kid.
Really?
It has started a nonprofit to try to bring suicide awareness because
That's
meetings
awesome.
with beautiful people do nothing.
Yeah.
Except make a show that we care and nothing gets accomplished and nothing happens. So you have kids doing it here in Randolph County. That's what this meeting reminds me of with Dan here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look at us. We care. Let's try to do something. We'll talk about it ad nauseum and do nothing. We'll point and we'll blame and we'll do all that. And in the meantime, people continue to die. There continues to be violence and nothing happens.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'm a bitch and I think it's all bullshit.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us this evening. I just want to let you know that we have a lot going on and we have a lot more to carry on with what we've been talking here over the next couple days and weeks. We can use your help to bring us in information, help to spread the word, get this out to everyone you know. It's in all sorts of playlists all over our YouTube channel, so you can find that. Chasing Sunsets has a very successful cat show Saturday and is now planning his next event. Oh, that's awesome. I like to hear that, Chris. That's cool. So, all right, folks, be on the lookout. See what we can do. Remember to do all these awesome, amazing things. If you haven't liked this episode yet, please go and do it before you leave. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do so. If you know people that you're related to, if they haven't subscribed, get them subscribed. Tell them to subscribe. Share this. If each one of you would share this with 10 people, holy shit. If each one of you would share this with 10 people, 2 of those people would watch, and maybe at least one of those people would hit the subscription button, and that would be a big, big thing. So that's the postscript. You guys take care of yourselves. Thank you all for everything. God bless each and every one of you. Watch out for this guy in your sleep, and we'll see you tomorrow. Tuesday. You better be here tomorrow. What are you talking about? See you tomorrow. You have no excuse to skip tomorrow. See you here tomorrow.
Class.
Yeah, what?
She's got class, she said.
Oh, what to say? Oh, I thought she said
Are you
later.
suggesting she play hooky just for you?
I thought she was saying see you in class later. I thought I get it. Now your excuse, Karen. Good night. Bye.